Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. With only 3 days left to the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, my mind has been going crazy with cultural theory after cultural theory when it comes to this game. I've touched on Alolan Executor, Marowak, even the starters, and discovered some crazy Polynesian origins behind their designs. But what about this generation's story-driven legendaries Solgaleo and Lunala? You got a sun-themed lion who isn't even fire-type, but instead steel-psychic, and a bat who's psychic ghost? What kind of oxymoron is that? But despite the bizarre typing, designs, and abilities, everything about these two has been handcrafted by Game Freak to blow your mind. How? Well, let's start with Solgaleo. One theory behind this Pokemon's origin comes from its name. Breaking it down, you have Sol and Galeo. Now, the word Sol has several ties in several cultures to the sun, but more specifically, its term is used by astronomers to refer to any solar day on Mars, making the sun motif all the more appropriate. But then we've got the other half, Galileo. And without a doubt, this references the father of observational astronomy, Galileo Galilei, an Italian philosopher, engineer, but most notably, astronomer. This was the guy who had the balls to claim that the Earth rotated around the sun in a time when the opposite was held as universal law. In 1616, Galileo studied the ebb and flow of the tides to piece together his theory that due to the size and timing of the ocean waves, the Earth not only had to spin on its own axis, but around another large planetary object, aka the Sun. But being 1616, Galileo was brought up against the Roman Catholic Inquisition, and it was there that they argued from biblical references in Psalms and First Chronicles that the world is, quote, firmly established and cannot be moved. Apparently, the Inquisition took this literally and had Galileo placed on house arrest until 1642 when he passed away at the age of 77. From what we know on the Sun and Moon website, Solgaleo is known as the honored emissary of the sun in the Pokemon world. To be named after the man who revolutionized the way we look at heliocentrism would make a lot of sense, but I'm not completely sold on this theory. After all, wouldn't you think that a freaking sun demigod would have the fire type? Instead, we've got psychic steel, so how does that make any sense? Let's go back to Solgaleo's description. It is referred to with reverence as the beast that devours the sun. Okay, so is this guy an emissary for the sun, or does he eat it for breakfast? Because this is some really confusing imagery here. Further on, we also discovered that Solgaleo's ability, Full Metal Body, prevents any of his stats from being lowered by opponents' moves. So, what does all that mean? To understand that, we have to go even further back in the history of science, back when chemistry was called alchemy. In this time, there was an incredibly famous book called the Rosary of Philosophers, also known as the Rosarium Philosophorum. This document not only held manuscripts of several well-known alchemists, but over 20 woodcut images that align with those documents. And it's here we have our answer. While some would argue that Solgaleo's sun-eating origins comes from the monarchy line of the Philosophoria Reformata in 1622, there is one thing that firmly ties Solgaleo to the alchemist side of the sun-eating green lion. Below the image, the text reads, "Of our Mercury, which is the green lion devouring the sun, I am the true green and gold lion without cares. In me, all the secrets of the philosophers are hidden." This is in reference to the greatest philosopher's secret in alchemical history, the ability to turn any metal into gold. See, the green line actually represents the liquid sulfate known as vitriol, an acid so powerful it eats through anything except gold. And in the eyes of the alchemist, this acid was thought to purify any metal to gold instead of just eating away all other metals besides gold. And it's here where the last piece of the puzzle fits into place. Solgaleo's ability prevents any of his stats from being lowered, or if you want to get flowery for a minute, made impure. The green line of vitriol is said to be able to purify any metal to its perfect state of gold. Therefore, we finally have our connection not only to Solgaleo's abilities and description, but also his quirky metallic typing. But what about Lunala? Is this Pokemon's origin as straightforward? Well, not really. See, Lunala is considered a positive demigod parallel to Solgaleo, an honorable emissary of the moon. But the matter of fact is that a lot of the real world really doesn't care for bats. Mayan god of death, Camisauce, was a bat, which really didn't help the animal's image. The Celts believed that bats signaled the witching hour when witches and demons come out and prey on folks. Again, not super helpful to the bat branding. And really, just look at our own general Western take on them. We associate bats with darkness, evil, and blood-sucking vampires. Even in the Pokemon community, no one really likes them. It seems no matter where you go, people just hate bats. Well, except East Asia. No, really, when it came to China and Japan, bats were pretty okay in their book. In fact, they were more than okay. The bat became a multinational symbol of good luck in the form of the Fu bat. See, in Chinese, fu means good fortune, good luck, happiness, and so on, but the word fu is also a homonym for bat. Simply based on wordplay, where most of the world detests bats due to their association with darkness and spirits, the East would fashion their art and even their clothing with the animal in order to bring them good luck. That explains the benevolent take on Lunala, but what about its typing? Psychic Ghost is literally as contradicting as it gets when it comes to Pokemon types. Why not Dark? After all, as previously mentioned, so many cultures associate bats with darkness. I mean, Psychic makes sense, considering bats are often thought as familiars to witches and warlocks who have a psychic connection with them, but Ghost? It just seems kinda weird for it not to be Dark. Well, the answer might surprise you. South African countries like the Ivory Coast and Madagascar believe that bats aren't only symbols of spirits, they are spirits. Many bats are thought to be the wandering ghosts of those unfortunate enough to be left unburied after death, and the connections don't even begin to end there. Another likely reason why Lunala is a ghost type and not dark type is due to its heavy association with light. In Lunala's description, we find that it constantly absorbs light and converts it into energy, making it glow. And its signature move, Moongeist Beam, is actually a beam of straight-up moonlight. It would seem kinda silly for a dark-type Pokemon to have so much association with light. But furthermore, moonlight, particularly on a full moon, has been attributed to increasing paranormal behavior. Full moons have been linked to all sorts of cultural monsters like werewolves and other lycanthropes. But paranormal researchers have claimed that a full moon drives more activity in ghosts and spirits. One theory behind this is that a full moon in its lunar cycle strengthens the magnetic field around the Earth, allowing for spirits to become strong enough to interact more with the living world. In a way, it's like ghosts feed on that full moon. And hey, doesn't that sound familiar, right? Lunala also absorbs the energy from the moon to become more powerful, which would make sense for a ghost type. Finally, if you're still not convinced that the ghost type of Lunala makes sense, well, there kinda already exists a ghost bat in real life. Yeah, in the northern parts of Australia. These little guys, aptly called ghost bats, are named as such because compared to other bats, its massive wings have an abnormally thin membrane. Alongside a soft white pelt, it gives it a rather ghostly glow in the low light of nighttime. This is undeniably similar to Lunala, who not only has a white design on its chest similar to the ghost bat's pelt, but when Lunala hits that full moon phase, its wings turn a ghostly bluish white. Again, similar to the wings of its real-life counterpart. So there you have it. When it comes to Sun and Moon's legendaries who have arguably some of the oddest typings, designs, and even names, Pokemon has never hit closer to home. But what do you guys think? Do you believe there's even more secrets behind these two? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching, everyone. And hey, big thanks to Loot Crate for sponsoring this video. They've been supporting my content for several months now, and I honestly couldn't be happier because I actually love their products. For less than $15 a month, you get 4 to 6 items worth over $50 sent right to your door. And this isn't some knockoff swag either. This month's Loot Crate of Magical contains exclusive gear for Game of Thrones, Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and holy crap, Big Trouble in Little China? Seriously? That's awesome! So if you want in on this exclusive gear and want to support my ability to keep making videos, head on over to lootcrate.com/culture and input the code CULTURE at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. And hey, who knows, it might be a pretty good Christmas present. But don't wait too long, this offer ends November 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific. But if you're looking for more Pokemon Theory videos, click those annotations and links in the description for more mind-blowing episodes. And be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the Game Theorists' newest videos. But until next time, everyone, this is Gaijin Goomba, signing out.